Eminem represents, as I've said in another video, he represents the rhythm being taken out of the flow of rapping. Now, I know some people see rapping as just basically talking along to a beat or a melody, but really it's more to that. You know, they refer to it, to your rap as your flow. Okay, there's a lot more to it than just talking to a beat. Hip hop music, it derives from funk. Okay, rhythm and poetry, rap, R-A-P, rhythm and poetry as described by Rakim. Okay. When you don't have rhythm to that poetry, can you really call it rap? And see, the rhythm, it is very important in black music. The drum, the rhythm, the bass, the groove, the melody. That has been drained out of rap music since Eminem. See, y'all gotta understand something. It was rap and hip hop music that kept the funk alive when the powers that be and their people tried to destroy it, cleverly using the whole death to disco rants and stunts as a cover for actually destroying black music. I mean, they were bold enough to proclaim death to our music, our culture, literally blowing up black records. And y'all gotta understand that many artists suffered from this. And they weren't just disco records now. The title disco was just the cover. They were blowing up all that nigger music or nigger shit that took a strong hold of American culture at that time. And know that it was these same type of Midwesterners and suburbanites you see at this event that Eminem derives from. And who are mostly Eminem's fans? Who are the people who relate most to Eminem's rap songs and stories? Where do they mostly derive from? Yep. These people are their parents. The same people who wanted to destroy funk music. And in case you haven't noticed, ever since Eminem blew up, rap music, black music in general, has gotten less and less funky. The only thing relatable in rap songs today are just the beats. I mean, you just have beats, but there's no groove, no funk. Flows lack rhythm, and the bass is pretty much removed from the music. And I want to read this. The historic February 2004 issue is a continuation of the source's year-long investigation of forces corrupting hip-hop, which began in March 2003 with the cover story, Hip Hop Under Attack. In this month's The Making of a Hip-Hop Monopoly, the source's investigation illustrates how corporate consolidation of record labels, radio, video, and retail outlets have created a tight-knit system that is working to take control of hip-hop from the minority communities and entrepreneurs that created it. At the helm of this powerful monopoly is Jimmy Iovine's Interscope Records, which the source argues is using Eminem as a tool to monopolize and redefine for mainstream America what the term hip-hop is and means. The source also exposes MTV's role in this process by separating hip-hop and rap into two different categories at their annual Video Music Awards, thus allowing hip-hop to be perceived as being reserved for non-threatening music and artists, while rap is eventually pushed out and becomes the domain of angry black artists. If hip-hop continues in this direction, and if this process is allowed to continue, the source maintains, hip-hop will go the way of rock and roll, where all of rock's economic and cultural value was stolen from its black creators like Chuck Berry and Little Richard, and its history forever rewritten. Last Line of Defense, an extremely honest and thought-provoking Q&A interview with recording artist, community leader, and Source's chief brand executive, Ray Benzino, who was the first person to stand up and question racist and monopolistic practices in hip-hop, sheds further light on the powerful hold corporate America is gaining on the hip-hop culture. Where hip-hop was a thing of freedom of expression and the expression of the struggle, they've taken that away from us. We're being told what types of songs we should make to get on the radio and what type of videos and images to show. And he's saying that corporate America is using its vehicles to dictate to us how to be creative. Benzino also opens the door for a discussion with Eminem, stating, if he wants to get in a dialogue, I think it would be incredibly influential, not just for hip-hop, but for humanity, because he can influence a lot of kids that felt a certain way about Black and Latino people.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have here, because of good brother Jay, an interview with Benzino, who is the co-owner with the white boy, Source Magazine. Check. Now, Source got something going on with Eminem, so then you know when they start to fighting, dirt starts to fly. And as the dirt starts to fly, you'll start to find out about what you didn't know. So I got, just a minute, y'all don't mind, do you? I want you to hear in the I told you so section what I've been telling you for so long. This is the interview in Hot 97.
Hot 97, we're talking to Dave Mays, co-owner of The Source.
Dave Mays first.
How is the magazine still staying afloat with, like, basically Jimmy Iovine and Interscope pulling all his ads? And I know you said Russell Simmons with his ads, you know, and so many people pulling their ads because there's such a beast over there at Interscope right now. I mean, how is The Source staying afloat?
Well, I mean, thankfully, you know, hip-hop is a huge industry now, and you have all kinds of companies that several years ago would never have targeted the hip-hop market that are, you know, car advertising. You look at The Source, 3 years ago, we didn't have a page of car advertising. Now it's our biggest category.
I took that from Source.
So there's a lot of companies out that aren't part of this silly politics of the industry and just want to reach the people. The Source is the #1 selling music magazine in America. We outsell Rolling Stone, Spin, Vibe, every one of our competitors 2-1 on the newsstands. We reach 8 million readers.
Did you hear that? Listen carefully to how they have undermined your children, and they have taken over Black expressive evolutionary consciousness and culture. Listen.
I mean, we all know what kind of dollars we spend as consumers buying a lot of these products, so it's an incredible way for companies to reach the audience. So most people are still supporting and advertising the magazine. It's only those that have been influenced by the politics behind this issue that have pulled out.
Now, before the brother could put the tape in to get the interview, which made him want to jump up and get it, but he missed it, Dave Mays said on the interview, yeah, they took your culture. He stole hip-hop. He said just like jazz, just like rock and roll, and just like everything else, they took it. That's what made him jump up to want to take this thing, but he missed it. But he got some pretty juicy stuff later on.
Now, Dave, one thing that you're kind of positioning this whole lawsuit battle as is like David and Goliath, and I guess, you know, Eminem is the big star, and then he's kind of coming at you guys, and you guys are defending journalistic integrity. But one of the major criticisms of The Source is that they have, you know, put aside journalistic integrity in the interest of their ongoing battles, like whether it is against Eminem or whether it is against, you know, even in taking side with Michael Jackson. So what do you have to say about that? Like, you guys kind of came to the defense of Michael Jackson, and then he is now, you know, it's in the paper all over the place that, you know, there's all these reports about him, you know, masturbating kids and all these other things. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, we never, I mean, as far as Michael Jackson goes, I mean, we made some comments that we support him and that we didn't feel that it was appropriate for that video to be made when he was on trial. I mean, that's the main issue with the Michael Jackson thing. If he isn't up for trial, his life isn't on the line, you know, it's a different situation. He's been made fun of millions of times by everybody. But when you're facing trial, trial for your life, you know, and the biggest artist in the world goes out there and basically convicts you in public.
The biggest artist in the world. Let me say that again. Remember what happened when he got the Academy Award. What did I tell you that was for? He got an Academy Award and all these Grammys. I told him the only thing left was for him to do Broadway. How do you give this an Academy Award for playing inside of black culture? That's what he got it for, 8 Miles, right? A movie about hip-hop and rapping. How did he do that? Why was it done?
His music video, you know, that has the potential to taint the jury. I mean, this is this man's life we're talking about. And everybody in this country, Michael Jackson, whoever is, should get a fair trial. So that's really, again, you know, what that issue is about. And as far as everything else goes, I mean, the issues of calling the source's integrity into question was a tactic that Interscope put out there to try to make it seem like, you know, this was something we were doing to try to, you know, because Benzino he was mad at Eminem, and it was just a personal situation. But clearly, as time has gone on, people have seen that this is about the state of hip-hop, the state of the industry. I mean, look what's going on with the sales out there. You know, artists aren't selling records anymore. All great labels over the past 5 or 10 years are being destroyed. I mean, you know, most of the major hip-hop record companies are gone.
As soon as this white boy got in, remember we told you, what was the name of that group, the rap group that came out of, the hip-hop group came out of Queens? Brother got shot. Run DMC. What happened right after they did that video with those white boys? You ain't never heard from him again. He became a minister. He went right out of the business as soon as he did a crossover.
Being bought out, people don't have jobs no more. I mean, this is what Benzino was seeing 2.5 years ago and predicting all this was going to happen.
No, Benzino didn't predict it. The underground was predicting this. And it's a shame that we could not reach the young brothers from the hip-hop community who were going in there. But check the excuses.
And people were like, nah, he's just mad at Eminem, and they bought into that. And then, you know, Interscope just hyped it up and said, okay, well, the source doesn't have integrity. They're just using the magazine to beat up on Eminem because Benzino's mad. But now, you know, the facts are coming out.
Dave Mays is Hot 97. He's co-owner of the source, talking about his trial with Eminem and Target question.
So let me just go straight to the point. The Source magazine, Dave Mays and Benzino, you actually feel that Eminem is a racist, flat out racist?
I couldn't say that because I don't know this guy. Like, you know, all I can go by is, you know, his actions that I observe and, you know, the songs that he made. Now, those songs were made 10 years ago. He was about 21 or 22 years old when he made the songs. He wasn't 16. You know, at the time he made those records, when you hear all the lyrics, he's calling black people porch monkeys and spear chuckers and, you know, all the N-word he used. To me, he was definitely a racist at the time.
He's a racist.
At the time he made those records. Now, could he have changed? I believe he could. I don't know.
I don't believe so.
Well,
from Mississippi, I ain't never seen a racist reform. So if he was using all those terms at that time, then I might have to ride with y'all that he is a racist.
Now, I would talk to the young brothers and sisters in the streets about Eminem. Oh, he got some nice lyrics. Oh, he got some nice groove. Or he got some nice, what do you call the background music that y'all cut? Nice beats or nice tracks and all. What? Where is the political awareness of the young brothers and sisters? Hip-hop's all over the world. I said, fool, understand that if hip-hop's going all over the world, they're taking it from you. That the reason they're using hip-hop because they don't have any public, no kind of popular or grassroots cultural material that appeals to everyone the way black people's music do around the world. And you don't understand that when black people, especially black males, become creative, especially musically, the world listens automatically. So they had to gain control of something that they knew, because if Eminem didn't come up, a black icon like they took out, and his name was Tupac, would have taken over. With all his madness, we could have brought him in. Him and Biggie, who said that the two of them were supposed to be secretly hooking up the East and the West Coast so that they would have their own black distributorship for the monies coming out and the talent coming out. The same way they got rid of Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Magic Johnson, the three MJs. When they wanted to come together to start a football league, a basketball league, a lawyers consortium to handle all the talent coming out of the black community, every one of them, like dominoes, began falling in the media. So with Eminem...
Well, another interesting thing, though, that you said is that there was no girlfriend, black girlfriend, as he claimed. How did you guys find that out?
We did a lot of research before we came out. We hired a private investigator and investigative reporters. We sent people out to Detroit. We interviewed people from his schools and his friends, and we got a lot of them on record. And there was nobody that knew this guy ever knew him to have a black girlfriend when he was 16. He had a white rap group. It was 4 white boys called Basement Productions. That was their rap clique, and they went in, they made the racist rap hour. Wow. That was one of their big recordings, and made all these songs, and that was how their whole thing got started.
Now, how did this skinhead end up in black music unless he was government? Now, another thing, the brothers and sisters, and I'm not using expletives today. And this is the kind of material that would get me into that mode, check? But you see, I want this particular video to go PG. Because I want the teachers to not get caught up in the language and get the substance. What we're about to reveal to you today, and I hope you got the patience. Y'all with us for the duration? Y'all gonna be here after the break, because I know y'all just be up and out of the break after that. All right, because this whole day is dedicated specifically, and I don't lecture no more. That's why I say only because of these beloved brothers I come out. Today we got something for you that is gonna blow your mind. I'm just building it up. And I'm glad you're here, because this is going to be an experience that the tape is not going to give to you. Okay? This man was government to begin with. We said so, and it's coming out. The proof is in it, the pudding. Now, listen carefully, because Benzino now comes in.
Dave, one thing though. Okay, in the source and in all magazines that cover rap, we talk about artists that are drug dealers, artists that are women beaters, artists who have done a various different things. So what is the difference? Why are they allowed to have a career and yet a racist rapper shouldn't have a career?
Because this is the predominant. I'll answer that one.
Thank you, Tom.
Because this is a predominantly black industry that we live, feed, and eat off of, especially you, Info, and especially you, Envy. So if it's a racist white rapper, he shouldn't be able to make no damn money. That's what it is.
But a drug dealer should. But a drug dealer,
you know what? I don't believe in the drug dealers either.
Or a murderer.
You know what? But you sit here every day, and you stroke these dudes, murderers, drug dealers. You kiss their ass. So I think Eminem should get the same damn beating. Hey, Dave, push on, brother.
Thank you, Tom.
Dave, we appreciate your call.
Now, he got it with that. You sit there all the time in your interviews with them, stroke them, and like she said, kiss their asses. Knowing that they are murderers, drug pushers, wife beaters, whatever.
I appreciate you having me.
Magazine, and we'll hope to see you in better things next year. And
I'm sorry, I just gotta say this. It would probably even, and I know this would be a scary approach, but he'd probably come off better and sell even more units if he would come face to face and be honest and expose his racism.
Now, this is the conciliatory, feminist, we want to accept, and all this. This is the problem with the female psyche. She wants to accept everything. She wants to love everybody. You can't love this beast. He is your sworn enemy. He does not want to be ruled by you. And everything you do when you open your mouth, when you place your mind on something to build it and make it, you do it greater than he does. He knows that. And every time he enters in here, it is to find ways to weaken you. So the feminine principle about, well, maybe if he just admitted he was a racist, he may sell more units. No! If I admitted to a skinhead that you are a sick, psychological, insane maniac, and I want you to accept me. This is where the feminine feeling for whatever got to step back. Cold discretion and understanding who the enemy is. To heck with all of that. We don't want you to sell more because, you know what she said? Maybe he'll sell more units if he says he's a racist. Did Malcolm become more accepted? Did Brother Khalid become more accepted? Because he pointed out their racism.
Of the now or of the past, because I'm sure his sentiments reflect that of a lot of his fans.
Right.
He could go even further, like
Same way that he did with his homophobia and with
exactly.
This is the part when Benzino comes into
That's me.
The interview.
But because you want to still appeal to the black kids, you don't want to go that far and expose that much about yourself. But if it's there, like, just...
He didn't have to expose himself. Look at what happens to hip-hop with all of our powerful teachers. Will somebody please tell me what in the hell is wrong with Flavor Flav?
Clear as fire. He's gone. Crack got drugged out.
The crackhead just asked this woman if she would have his baby on national television. I know that Chuck must be turning, he must got continual diarrhea. Well, he might, you know, I can't say that because, you know, there's been too much stroking going on. And it's funny how Benzino comes in at this point.
They're real calculated at like what they do up there, and believe me, like I said,
Benzino.
You know, once we drop this other thing about Jimmy Iovine, I want to see what the whole music world and like what the industry is going to be saying. And because a part of the problem is the industry. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of these guys out here who just are really scared of everything over there, scared to say anything.
Right, because they never know when they're going to need an EMINEM feature on their records, or when they're going to need Jimmy Iovine, the Greenlighter Project, or when they might...
Disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting the amount of influence Interscope has because they basically scare people into playing or not playing whatever they want to hear or whatever they don't want to hear.
Yeah, but then you know what? You can't even completely blame Interscope or these artists that turn the other cheek, because at the end of the day, they have bills to pay, and that's how the game. That's how the game.
But you know what?
Now you see the mentality? I got bills to pay. No revolutionary mindset, no integrity. And you know, after 25 years, I thought that something was being done. Nothing, it seems. We ain't going nowhere. It feels like I'm trying to go up or down escalator. You have to run hard, and you get to about midway, and then...
Jones
next man.
Not at all.
People do not care about...
Now, instead of her saying that people should care, she propagates the sickness by telling people, well, that's not what it is. We don't care, so let's keep going anyway.
Man, especially, unfortunately, black people. They trying to get their family taken care of, and they trying to make their name a household name. They're not trying to make history or make it better for the next...
Do you hear that? Is that sad? But did I tell you that that's exactly what hip-hop would do with all the money? That because hip-hop does not have any guidance, it's going to come back and it's going to destroy the community. I told you that. The hip-hop and the rap separated, because true hip-hop and rap are not the same.
Hold on, you ain't gotta go nowhere, right?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. Zeno is on the line with us, and if you'd like to speak to him or you got questions, because I'm sure y'all do, now's your opportunity to get that off. 1-800-223-9797. It's Miss Jones in the morning on Hot 97. What is it? The alleged showdown last night at a Detroit radio station between Dave Mays and Eminem. Did Eminem actually spit on Dave Mays like he's claiming?
I don't know if he spit on Dave. I know he went up there and talked a lot of ish, but my thing is, this would have never went up there if I was up there. And my thing is, if he got money and I got money, let's go fly 10 people out to the Grand Canyon, or like maybe me and him will just fly out there. Like, he's such a coward, he would have never pulled that ish if I was up there. And he was up there by himself, so it's not like Dave was so scared to go to Detroit.
Right. And he was probably thinking that as a businessman, okay, I have business to handle, let me just go handle my business, not thinking that Eminem would be so coward as to use that as an opportunity to appear gangster.
And then go up there and say, if it wasn't for the cameras, I would do this and do that. Man, if you want to do something, you're going to do it.
Is it true that you tried to go on the station or call into the station after the whole incident went down, and then Eminem's crew said that if they let you do that, they would shut the station down?
I mean, I know that one of the DJs got on the phone and was like, no, Zeno, we can't have you up here. Eminem, he's not going to do nothing. He just came up there and he's this and that, but we can't have you come up here. You know, we have to let this guy down. You can't come up here. You can't come up there, because I was getting ready to get on the plane 9 in the morning. First flight out, I was there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because Dave didn't call me until like I was in Puerto Rico at the time.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So.
Well, thank God the jock didn't try and feed into the beast and tried to at least let things cool off.
I mean, you know what though? But it's like Dave's there by himself against 10 dudes. So what really can Dave do? Dave held his ground though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like proud of my man. You know what I'm saying? Because Dave ain't no coward, man. Dave done been around me, and Dave done been around enough real ish. You know what I'm saying? Not to get all nervous when things happen. So you know what I'm saying?
And nor does he proclaim to be a gangster of any sort. He's a businessman. That's what you know about.
Dave Mays graduated from Harvard, handles business every day.
Right.
Run around here and talk.
We got somebody running a rap magazine graduated from Harvard. Smart man, right? Everybody know where the money is when black folks around, except black folks.
Met somebody who wants to beef with people. That, you know, if it's going to be that, then let that be his other half. Let that be me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Now, Interscope Records and Jimmy Iovine seemingly using his financial wherewithal to possibly, well, he supposedly put money behind your competing magazine. And are you afraid at all with this trial that they will try and financially drain you and shut the Source magazine down?
We're good. Me, Dave's good. Source magazine is good. We don't got the advertisement of Jimmy Iovine and his #1 coon, Russell Simmons.
Is that #1 coon?
Coon. We told you. Listen to what he says about the #1 coon, Russell Simmons.
You know what I'm saying? We don't got the...
Wow!
We don't got the advertisement.
Did you just call him a coon?
I need a sound effect, folks. Wow!
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, you know?
Why do you call him that? Why
Queens where we grew up and try to help some people over there. You know what I'm saying? While his wife is talking about gold toilet bowls.
Now, you know his wife got some kind of style program where all she talk about is toilet bowls and how we could make you over and the most superficial crap. And everything is makeover. This is the result of what I have said is the feminization of our society. We are worried about making over constantly. Queer people are bum rushing hard-working men to put makeup on them.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't think that Russell Simmons does a lot through his hip-hop action network?
Man, Russell Simmons is a clown, man, and everybody knows it.
Did we have to wait for him to hear this? No, because we told you he was a clown.
Okay, Russell Simmons stuck up for Jimmy in Eminem because of a money thing. It's all about a money thing. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the best interest of money thing. Now, mind you, okay, the vote's over, Bush is in. You're not going to hear too much more from Russell. Like, you don't hear too much more. Like, the whole thing is over with. Really.
Right.
You don't hear too much from him no more.
And let me just say this, in fairness, Russell, if you would like to call the show, of course, you know, we'll give you the opportunity to say what's on your mind. Just have to put that out there. But
damn, John Russell will call up.
yeah, please.
If he call, ain't nobody gonna get to talk.
Because Russell can talk.
We be here till tomorrow.
Man, Russell, see, you know what Russell is to corporate America? They believe Russell is the pulse of hip-hop, corporate America.
Because they don't.
He is what is called a what? A hip-hop mogul.
Know better.
You see, exactly. But as long as Russell can, you know what I'm saying, say the stuff that he says and go to the Hamptons and, look like he's, you know what I'm saying, go like Fashion Week, Mr. Fashion Week, but it's not really, he doesn't represent us. He doesn't represent the struggle. He doesn't represent the music. And it's really sad that Russell has him turned to this because at one point, Russell Simmons did mean something. So now it's just all about paper. It's all about money for these people.
Isn't it inevitable, though, that it all comes down to that?
Nah, not for me it don't. Not for David don't. You see, so that's why I really can't believe it does. You know, it doesn't for me. It's about the future of our music. It's about the future of our culture.
Really? Is there a light peeking through?
And, you know, the stuff we do today are going to end up coming back to haunt us tomorrow.
Told you that 10 years ago. Maybe it takes time. A minute or two, because you know in the underground, we like 5 years ahead of everybody.
Trust me.
Are you even the slightest bit concerned that with Busta, who signed to Dre, and Dre, who signed to Interscope, and Eve, who signed to Dre, and G-Unit, and 50, all that affiliation?
So Busta's gone. Eve, well, she was gone when she began. The G-Unit. All of these people are now gravitating like moths to a flame into Interscope. Now listen to what Benzino says about that gravitation of black talent to Interscope and about your boy, the one I told you how much hip-hop went for on the open market. What was that? 50 Cent. Now every time you see, say when he's on the red carpet going into some kind of function, what would his fans shout to him to get his attention? $50. What that sound like? Action! That's how much hip-hop was worth on the open market to these crackers. And remember I told you they bought and sold you for 50 cents. And as soon as this white boy came out, I knew hip-hop was gone, period. Because Elvis Presley had come back on the scene.
I don't even want to cut you off, but remember, like Mary went over to Aftermath and she hasn't been doing so well, so it's not like everybody going over to that one spot is going to do good, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
right.
That whole sound is going to start getting tired. Even your man Boo Boo had to push his album back, them great Boo Boo. Had to push his album back.
Who's that?
50.
Boo Boo.
He got to push his album back from St. Valentine's Day to like March something now, so,
I'm out the loop on the Boo Boo thing. Could somebody get me up to speed, please?
No, it's just funny.
That's his nickname back in Queens, Boo Boo.
When last you heard somebody named Boo Boo? Yogi Bear. Now you know, if he came out with a name like that in the hip hop community, so his name is Boo Boo. Now y'all got something that y'all can spread around in the community. Kind of take him down a notch on the thug list, doesn't it?
Let's go in the morning where nicknames get exposed. I was going to ask you if you were even the slightest bit concerned that if you don't have these artists like that supporting your magazine, that eventually that's going to turn people off.
I mean, eventually all these artists are running over. They're going to find out that they're not going to really be able to eat because everybody's going to be in one kitchen. When you got everybody in one kitchen, how can everybody eat? Everybody's bumping into each other. Right. Some people taking all the chicken. Some people took all the rice. It's not going to work like that.
Now, the reason why I took this time and kind of saturated this moment with what I had to say is because I need a little time to get the I told you so over. If you heard it from me, but if you hear it from the broader society, that it's all crumbling, it's coming down. Now what you going to do about it? They snatched hip-hop. Just like they snatched R&B, they snatched everything that we have done strategically. It's tactical to undermine who you are. They took so-called jazz at the level that Grover Washington and Stanley Turrentine have just elevated jazz to a whole kind of rhythm and blues jazz feel. And we remember Mr. Magic. That was the first so-called smooth jazz. And as soon as that happened, they exported that over to Europe, and all the Europeans began doing smooth jazz, and then they exported it back, because Gary Bird told me while I was riding in the car, he said, man, you got to check this new station out called CD 101.9. And everybody playing was getting down like Grover Washington, but we're white. So now what we're saying to you, beloved brothers and sisters, who do have a chance to listen to this tape, because it's going to get deeper, you now have to understand, overstand, and understand that your culture is your prize. Your music is what sets you free and everyone else. If you did not estrange yourself by being caught up in the games,